Hey, it's good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
Good to connect with you. I think
Yes.
maybe just start, Allison, a little bit about um, maybe just telling us a little bit about your KU experience,
Hmm.
and so people can get to know you a little bit, and
Right.
then where you are now and
Awesome.
what you do now as well. So if you can just start with that, that'd be great.
Awesome. So, KU graduate class of 2019. I graduated with my Bachelor's of Arts in Human Biology, as well as a focus in Applied Behavioral Science. I miss KU dearly. Being away from Lawrence makes my heart a little bit sad. But I am now here in Houston, Texas. Again, nice and sunny, first day of winter. And actually, it's kind of funny how I ended up down here in Houston. So, during my senior year of my undergraduate experience, I decided to take an alternative break. And my alternative break was down here to Houston, Texas, with a nonprofit called SBP, which specialized in rebuilding homes following Hurricane Harvey. And so I came down here on my spring break, alternative break, got to volunteer with SBP for a week, which was a really humbling experience. And I actually, through just getting to talk with some of the team leaders and some additional staff, I actually inquired about an AmeriCorps position with SBP. And so, graduation was 2 months away, and I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do post graduation, if I wanted to stay in Lawrence, if I wanted to go back home to my hometown of Des Moines, Iowa, or maybe go to Kansas City, somewhere a little bit closer. But initially, I took that leap to come down here to Houston and serve with SBP for 10 months after my graduation. And I'm still here. I surprisingly still feels a lot like home. I've met so many Jayhawks being down here in Houston. It's wonderful. My current boss, I'm at a seasonal position, but my current boss is actually a former Jayhawk as well, which is really awesome. So it's nice to kind of have that connection. And no matter where I go, I still always have some kind of tie back to KU and to Lawrence.
That's wonderful. So
Yes.
one of the we know each other, of course, because we work together. We're
Mhm.
colleagues on orientation, and when I was going
Yes.
through the mentoring platform, and great memories. As I was going through the mentoring platform, I noticed that you had made some good connections with some
Hmm.
folks there. Can you just maybe tell us a little bit about how you've used the mentoring platform and who you've connected with there?
Right, right. So being a part of at KU, being a part of Student Alumni Leadership Board, that is what kind of first sparked me into KU mentoring. That's when the platform was very new and very fresh, and so they had encouraged us to go in and start our profile. And I didn't really think anything out of it. I was like, I'll go make a profile. I'll sign up. I'll put my interest in, kind of focus on my post college aspirations and see if there's anybody on KU mentoring that kind of lined up with what I wanted to do. And at the time, I was looking into going into some kind of occupational therapy program. And so I just was doing some research, looking through KU mentoring, a lot of great profiles on there, a lot of great connections. And I ended up connecting with I forgot her name at the moment. I think it's
Karen.
Karen.
Karen, yeah.
Karen, yeah. So I ended up connecting with Karen because she had a position in occupational therapy that she was currently working in. And so, we connected immediately. I said, hey, Karen, I'm looking to get a little bit more just information and insight on occupational therapy and her experience in it. I think she's done more of a path that I couldn't really see myself doing, but it was nice to get her insight on it. She opened up my eyes to a lot more of the kind of behind the scenes action of the field. And we actually ended up meeting at Salty Iguana by my apartment at the time in Lawrence. That and we had a nice little meal. We got to talk about, her experience in the occupational therapy field, my interest in occupational therapy, and, just connect as well about being a Jayhawk, which was really nice. And, kind of the coursework, her experience when she was in school, as well as, she had any like recommendations or just advice, because I felt like I was kind of navigating the field and what I wanted to do on my own. And so once I had connected with Karen, that was just a really nice point to kind of get another perspective on it, to actually be able to meet with someone who can give me her whole experience from when she first got started in the occupational therapy field all the way up until, she's still doing what she's doing. And it was just a really useful experience, and I took a lot away from it. And, I haven't really, I won't say I haven't made any connections on there since, especially since graduating and things like that. But I have transitioned into more of putting myself out there as a mentor, at least from my experience in the nonprofit field following my KU graduation, in terms of just being a point of help for anyone if they're looking, not sure what to do post graduation, just need some advice, how to network, how to do things like that. I kind of put myself out there in that aspect. But I'm still open to making lots of connections, especially knowing how vast the network is in terms of growing and the connection that you can really make.
That's wonderful. Yeah, we've got almost we should crest 8,000 people in the next maybe couple of months, I hope. So
That's
really, really, really growing rapidly. Let me ask maybe one more question, Allison, which is, so
mm-hmm.
you were a student and you were on SALB, and you took this risk, let's call it, to contact somebody, and it really turned out. It sounds like you had a, even though it ended up being a field that you haven't gone into at this point in your life, it sounds like it was a really beneficial and nice, is nice the right word, meeting. And now, like you said, you've transitioned. Now you're a graduate. You've been a year out plus now,
Mm-hmm.
and you're a mentor rather than a mentee. And like you said, people that are interested in nonprofit, AmeriCorps, maybe moving to Houston, whatever that, or coming out of your own academic backgrounds. And what did you major in again?
Human biology.
Human biology, right? You got
Human
a BA
biology.
in human biology. So maybe people that would be interested in being like, hey, I have a
Mm-hmm.
biology degree. Can we talk about, how that comes into your work or whatever? Let me ask this question, and
Right.
you can think on this if you want for a second, which is, what advice would you have for a student reaching out to you or another alum on the mentor when they go to make that first contact, send that first note or email? Is there anything as a mentor you would like to hear right off the bat, or from your experience when you were a student, is there anything that you did you're like, okay, that really worked well for me, I shared this, or I made certain to do A or B or whatever? Anything that come to mind?
Um, I would firstly say, like, go for it in terms of like joining the platform. Some people are like, well, I don't know if they're going to find it useful or what they can get out of it, but I really just want to push the importance of like going for that initiative to create that account and make those connections. Especially being a Jayhawk, there are endless connections all across the world, and I think it's important. Like, you'll never know what's out there if you don't try to go for it. And I got so much out of my experience with Karen. Again, even though it's not a field that I'm currently pursuing right now, even just having that time to sit down and talk with her and get her experience and get another person's insight on a field that I'm looking at going into was useful beyond measures. Just having that experience of networking and creating these connections with folks, I find it extremely important especially once you're out of college, and you're doing your job search. You're looking for like-minded folks in the fields that you're interested in going in. And I also encourage, even if it's a field that you have interest in, but maybe you don't see yourself in it right now, go and make those connections in those fields, because like you never know what's gonna blossom out of it, and you never know where it's gonna go. And somebody that you can mentor with can inspire you to be a mentor. I'd say that's what happened with myself and Karen, because once I had graduated, I started thinking, okay, I got this useful information from her, from KU mentoring. How can I do that for other Jayhawks that are maybe they don't have these resources or they're not sure where to go? I think a part of that KU mentoring is building the networks that you can use to succeed or even take you somewhere else. Like I never imagined that I'd be here in Houston. Like I said, I kind of envisioned myself staying in Lawrence or going back home to Iowa, but I took the leap. And like I said, I've met so many Jayhawks down here. I still feel like if I have any questions or, you know, I need some advice or even just networking, like I have a Jayhawk here that I can go to. Which is awesome. And especially, again, creating that across the country and across the world, you never know what that can turn into. So I just say go for it, take the initiative. You'll get a lot more out of it than you think. And, you know, because with it being such a new platform, I felt like I wasn't sure if there were going to be the resources that I needed on there quite yet. But hearing that the numbers are about at 8,000, that's awesome because that's so many connections that you can make. And, you know, maybe it's not you making the connection as well, but you might have a friend that's connected to somebody that you might be able to benefit from. But I really think just utilizing the resources that you can get all from that one platform, it will take you places you can't even imagine.
I love that. Last question, favorite KU memory?
Oh, man. So many in my 4 years. So many.
You got to pick one. You got to pick one for today. Now, I understand it could change. Tomorrow might be a different favorite memory, but today, yes. December 21st, 2020.
I'd still say, oh man, I'm having like a year thing. I guess 2019 when we went to the Final Four. That was just I still have the t-shirt in my closet. I look at it almost every day. That was just a really exciting feeling. I miss KU basketball more than anything. And, you know, last year I was really heartbroken with us finishing. We're number one. Tournament got canceled. 15 straight. I thought we had it. So I keep reflecting back to that Final Four year. It was such a good time, and being able to celebrate was awesome.
Now, I have so many good memories of orientation, and I will always, forever, ever be impressed that you, as what year in school were you when you were an orientation assistant? Junior?
A junior, yeah.
Yeah. That freshmen and sophomores and juniors and seniors can get on that stage every single day in front of 500 new people today, 500 different people tomorrow, 500 different people the day after that, and get up and make a public speech on a daily basis. I will always be impressed with that.
Well, thank you. A lot of that has really prepared me for the fields that I'm in now. I've had to do a lot of just speaking in front of people and presentations, especially in my nonprofit work. And so I'd always have flashbacks to orientation and pulling my stage face together and, you know, things like that. Really just, it's still with me.
You see Jessica Mattis in the back being like, yes, put your smile on, stand, get closer to the front of the stage.
Her walk with a purpose is like, or move with a purpose, like when we need to go do something, that still comes in my head daily when I'm looking around. I'm like, move with a purpose, go do something. So yes.
Well, you've always got Jayhawks to come back to, and with me and with others at the Alumni Association, anytime you ever need us, Allison.